Hi friends, today we will take a complete insight into how to crack GPAT. GPAT is Graduate Pharmacy Aptitude Test. It is conducted by National Testing Agency every year by online mode. The exam is online, computer-based examination. Its objective is to get admission into master's program like MPharm, Pharm MBA, PhD from top pharmacy institute, and also to get into PhD programs. The pattern of GPAT examination is multiple choice questions. The time duration is of 3 hours. The number of question is 125 and the maximum marks is 500. Each question is of 4 marks, so the total makes 500 of 125 questions. Negative marking is present. 4 marks are awarded for correct answer, -1 for incorrect and 0 for unattempted. Scholarship is there of 12,400. Eligibility is you should be an Indian citizen and in final year of B.Pharm, or either you have cleared or completed your B.Pharm. There is no age limit for GPAT examination. So this is a brief introduction of what GPAT is. Now we will take an insight into the cutoff of last 7 years. Okay, so as you see, this is the cutoff of last 7 years. If we observe from 2016 to 2018, we will find that cutoff is almost same. But if we will observe from 2017 to 2020, we will find a rise in cutoff. Okay, and if we will compare 2018 with 2019, there is 22% increase in the cutoff. And if we compare 2019 with 2020, there is almost about 15% increase in cutoff. So what we can infer from this data is that from the past 4 years, that is from 2017, you can say the cutoff is increasing for the GPAT examination. So we can infer that the cutoff may rise further. But this is an inference. It is not necessary that this will happen, because if we find that cutoff has decreased also sometimes, it depends upon the level of question papers and few other factors. But in general, what trend we are seeing that the cutoff has been increased. So to be safer side, our target should be 180 out of 500 to ensure that we will get selected. So in your mock test and in your test series, you should keep a target of 180 marks to ensure that you will get selected in the examination, to be at safer side. So this is the target. But now, how to achieve this target? How to increase your chances of getting selected, and how to prepare for the examination? For that, there are 2 conditions. If you have prepared all the subjects and on a regular basis right from the first year, or you can say first semester, then there is very less thing to worry about. You just have to revise whatever you have learnt, because if you have done that right from the first year, if you have done regular studies, then there is very good chances of yours being selected. Just you have to revise them properly in a proper manner. And if it is not so, if you are preparing just a year before or 6 months before, in that case you have to follow this approach. First of all, believe that you can achieve it. This is for everyone who is appearing in the exam. The first thing which makes you closer to towards your goal is, first of all, you have to believe that you can achieve it. Then focus on subject with high weightage like pharmacology, physical pharmacy, pharmaceutics, biopharmaceutics and pharmacokinetics. Now, pharmacology, physical pharmacy, pharmaceutics and biopharmaceutics are considered as subject with high weightage. This is so because the number of questions appearing from these subjects is quite high as compared to the number of questions appearing from other subjects. So, if you are preparing a year before or 6 months before the examination, first go through these subjects thoroughly and clear all the concepts related to these subjects with the help of the experts, your teachers, friends, everyone. So, first of all, prepare the complete syllabus of pharmacology, physical pharmacy, pharmaceutics and biopharmaceutics, and that too in a good manner, in a thorough manner. Okay, because a significant amount of questions appears in the examination from these subjects. Then you should focus on subject with intermediate weightage like pharmacognosy, pharmaceutical analysis, medicinal chemistry or pharmaceutical chemistry, pharmaceutical engineering, microbiology, organic chemistry, pharmaceutical jurisprudence and biochemistry. If we talk about these subjects are considered as intermediate subjects because question do appears in the examination from these subjects, but the number of question is less than the subjects of higher weightage. Okay, so you can skip some topics in these subjects and focus on main topics. Like in pharmacognosy, you can go through the classification of crude drugs, and in that particular classification also the source and the biological name of crude drug and from which part of the plant it is obtained, the chemical constituents of that particular crude drug and the test for that particular chemical constituent and the main use of that particular crude drug. These things you have to learn in pharmacognosy. Then in pharmaceutical analysis, you should go through spectroscopic method very well and very thoroughly, like UV visible, infrared, NMR, mass spectroscopy and chromatographic techniques, because these types of questions appears in examination from the analysis part. So spectroscopic techniques are very much important. Then if we talk about medicinal chemistry, okay, if we talk about medicinal chemistry, then this subject you should study along with pharmacology. Do not study as a separate subject. When you study pharmacology and as you study different drugs in that particular subject in pharmacology, learn simultaneously medicinal chemistry by learning the structures and SAR of those particular drug along with the structural classification. So in this way you can simultaneously complete the medicinal chemistry along with the pharmacology. Then if we talk about pharmaceutical engineering, then in this subject you have to go through unit operation like mixing, sieving, these type of unit operation you have to learn along with the equipment involved in that particular unit operation and the examples of drugs which which needs to be processed through those kinds of unit operation. Means you have to learn unit operation along with specific examples. Then in case of microbiology, you have to go through the sterilization techniques, various techniques for sterilization, then classification of bacteria, and important source of important microbial source of different products, okay, and staining techniques. These are important parts of microbiology. And along with this, you should also know about the various microorganisms, like what is a virus, mycoplasma, these kind of organisms, and their specific characters you should know. Differentiation between gram positive, gram negative bacteria, and all these things, a general overview of all the microorganisms you should know. Then in organic chemistry, you should learn about the aromaticity of the compound. Whether the compound is aromatic or not, you should know how to find out the same. And also you should go through the name reactions and the mechanism of the reaction, SN1, SN2 and other mechanisms of reaction. So in this way you have to learn organic chemistry, okay. Then in case of pharmaceutical jurisprudence, you should thoroughly go through the Drugs and Cosmetic Acts, because that is very important. So you have to learn it thoroughly along with the overview of other acts, but the Drugs and Cosmetic Act you should learn thoroughly. If we talk about biochemistry, you should have an overview of all the biomolecules and the test to determine them, like the test for carbohydrates, test for lipids, a special kind of carbohydrate, if any, used in a medical practice, or any kind of biomolecule which is used in a medical practice. Then you have to learn about enzymes in a good manner, competitive inhibition, non-competitive inhibition. So this part you have to cover in biochemistry. Then certain kind of diseases due to deficiency diseases, okay, vitamins, these things you have to learn in biochemistry. So in this way you can prepare the subject with intermediate weightage. Then comes the subject with low weightage, such as physical chemistry, biotechnology, clinical pharmacy, human anatomy and physiology, pharmaceutical management, dispensing and hospital pharmacy. These are the subject with low weightage. Low weightage means not more than 2-3 questions appears from these subjects in the examination. So these are the subjects you can prepare in the end when you have completed your rest of the syllabus. Now, along with all this, along with the this 3 rounds of your learning of your syllabus completion, during these 3 rounds of your preparation, you should also keep on revising what you have already learned. It should not be just like that you are going through new topics every day, because that will lead to vanishing of whatever you have learnt earlier. So you should assign a particular time in your schedule for revision also. So whatever you have learnt, you should revise also the very next day to keep it in your mind, and so that till the end it will get embedded inside your mind in a good manner. Then how to study? First of all, learn through books, okay. Do not avoid books, your main reference books. Go through them, whether you prefer notes or whether you prefer books, but do learn from books. Learning from books is dynamic in the sense that if you search for a particular topic in a book, you flip the pages, you go through other information as well, so that will help you in building up your knowledge. Whereas notes are static, means once you have made the notes, okay, you are going through the same thing again. But this doesn't mean you should not prepare notes. That depends upon the individual to individual. Some of them are comfortable with books, some of the students, and some would like to learn from notes. But if you are preparing on a short term, do not attempt to prepare notes, because that will consume most of your time, okay. So learn from books if you are comfortable. Otherwise, prepare your own notes. Take help from experts, teachers and friends if you have any kind of doubt. Then solve past 10 years of GPAT question papers. Practice MCQ on daily basis. This is very, very important. If we keep learning but we do not practice multiple choice question, it will just like we are skipping the rest of the 50% part of the preparation. So practicing MCQ is very necessary. In the end, means in the end of your preparation, your concepts should be crystal clear of the topics you have prepared. Means you should have learned very well. Your concept should be crystal clear of all the topics you should have been prepared. This kind of feeling you should acquire at the end of your preparation. The reference book which you can refer for various subjects is Essential of Medical Pharmacology by K.D. Tripathi. This book is sufficient for pharmacology. If you are going through K.D. Tripathi, that is very much sufficient for your GPAT preparation. Then for Sutik's part, you can go through Martin for physical pharmacy, Remington for other subjects, Alton, Theory and Practice of Industrial Pharmacy by Lackman. For biopharmaceutics, you can go through Brahmankar. Indian Pharmacopoeia general chapters are important, so learn the general chapters of Indian Pharmacopoeia. For organic chemistry, Morrison and Boyd. For medicinal chemistry, Wilson and Giswald and Foy. For pharmaceutical analysis, Silverstein and Skoog. For microbiology, Pelzar. For biochemistry, Satyanarayan and Harper you can also prefer. And for pharmaceutical jurisprudence, Forensic Pharmacy by N.K. Jain is sufficient. Then some other points which you should keep in your mind is that keep yourself motivated throughout the tenure of your preparation. Keep yourself motivated means you should be self-motivated, because not always you will find someone to motivate you. So the motivation will come from within, inside yourself. So keep yourself motivated. How you can keep yourself motivated? Fix small targets for yourself and try to complete them. So when you will complete small targets, you will build a confidence inside you, and that confidence will keep you motivated. Be confident. If you have learnt well, if you have done your preparation honestly, then you should be confident. If in the examination hall you find the paper tough, means if suppose you have opened the paper on your computer screen and you find the five questions from the beginning and you are finding them that you are unable to solve them, okay, means you are not finding any kind of answer, you have even no idea. But do not get hesitated or nervous at that particular time, because if you have prepared well, then if you find paper tough, then it is tough for everyone. Be positive and do less negatives. A feeling of positivity should be always inside you that you can do it, and do less negatives in the examination. This is very much important. If you are not sure about the answer, please do not mark the answer, because sometimes it is the negative which hinders the selection. Don't always compare yourself with others. Try to be a better version of yourself. In the process of comparing ourselves every time with other, what happens? Negativity builds inside us. Okay, and that will give unnecessary frustration, fears. So don't always compare yourself with others, but try to be a better version of yourself. Means what you were yesterday, today you should be a better than what you were yesterday. What you have learnt yesterday, today you should acquire more knowledge than whatever you have learnt yesterday. So try to be a better version of yourself. In the end, I just want to say that don't wait for the perfect moment. Take the moment and make it perfect. Don't wait that I will study from tomorrow or from a day after tomorrow. Just start your preparation today. If you found it useful, please do like and subscribe. Do share with others. Thanks a lot.